We
Can
have
I
talked
ask a
time and time
oh,
again about how amazing this community of Frederick County is. And I tell you, every time I turn around, there's another thing that we do that I just think tops the list. So we keep topping once and more. I've got Pilar and Lori. You guys are part of a program called Family Connects, Frederick County. Pilar, I've been talking to you for a while. So you are um, I want to call you, you're the project manager, but you really are the spearhead behind making sure this program is supported financially. And I'm assuming wanting to perhaps make sure that this can never go away. I don't know, I'm speaking for you, but I would think that with your background with policy and things like that, is to implement this as a thing that should be financed by our tax dollars or government, so there's no worry that this would never be there.
We really want to make sure that families in Frederick County can continue to access this amazing service and also throughout Maryland, if possible.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And Lori, you are an RN who helps coordinate the nurses who do the visits. Do I have that right?
that is correct. Yes,
Is that like herding cats? Sometimes I feel like, it would be like, I'm sure it's very polished. I'm sure it's
I
polished.
call it more puzzle pieces to put together.
All right. So, in the simplest terms, the program supports moms who have recently given birth, right? And you guys help by checking in. Well, actually, why don't you, Lori, tell me exactly how this whole thing goes?
So we do serve new families in Frederick County with a newborn, and we can serve them for up to 12 weeks. Typically, our visits are done at a 3 week mark when the baby is home from the hospital. We can serve families who are adopting children or babies. We can serve surrogates and surrogate families, and we can also serve bereaved families. So we see a wide range of families who live in Frederick County. The nurse goes out and does a comprehensive health assessment of the baby and also of mom. And then we just really sit down and talk and chat and talk about how it's going, and also, connect them to resources that they may need if they need someone from lactation, or, if they need a visit with another physician or provider, midwife. We can connect them back to that practice as well.
Yeah. And Pilar, how long were you working on this before we were able to implement it here in Frederick County? And I think you were saying this got implemented, did you say 2022 or 2023, right? I think Lori came on in September and you guys launched in January.
Yes. Yeah. We started initially talking about Family Connects in 2019. And
Okay.
yeah, really 2019. And then we, during the course, starting in the pandemic, we started talking about it much more earnestly, in part because we really wanted to respond to the Maryland Maternal Mortality Review Commission report, which showed that families, pregnancy-related deaths due to pregnancy-related complications happen at a pretty high rate between the time birthing parents are discharged from the hospital and then when they have that 6-week postpartum appointment.
Mhm.
So we thought there's a gap in care. And also, we really wanted to lift families up in a very positive way to make sure that children, babies were getting a great start, and that their caregivers feel fully equipped to engage in the kind of serve and return interactions that build positive brain architecture.
Yeah. And I think, look, I mean, I think once, my kids are 21 and 19, and when you're in the throes, you're thinking, oh my gosh, how am I going to do this? And now, when you're on the other side, you think, oh my gosh, you can. I know it seems like it's overwhelming, but you can do it. And sometimes you just need that cheerleader that's not your husband or parent or spouse or partner. You need somebody that you respect or authority to come in and say, no, you're perfect. Like your baby's right where they should be. Don't worry about it. I think my I had the benefit of having my children in Australia, and they were doing this 21 and 19 years ago. And I really was able to be honest with that person, almost more so because they weren't related to me. I didn't think I'm not going to see them again, right? Maybe in a couple weeks, but just really to say, look, I'm kind of concerned about this, or the baby sneezed 3 times. What do I do? Or, and I think it's just, you just need to be just told it's great. You're fine. Everything's good. Nothing to worry about. Or on the flip side, I'm assuming, Lori, that if there is something that is concerning, you guys then have the opportunity to say, hey, you know what? We might want to get this checked out. Or, you guys, let's help you make sure and feel better about where you are.
Absolutely. There's been several cases where we've had, the nurses have done an assessment and recommended that they go to the pediatric ER. There's also been several times where a mom's blood pressure may be high, and blood pressure is something that you may have symptoms with. So just checking that and making sure that it's, okay. And if it's elevated, we can either direct them back to their provider, obstetrician, midwife, or we can refer them to the ED where they can get in right away. We have made a pathway from the ED straight to labor and delivery. A lot of people are worried about going back to the hospital. They can take their baby with them. So we just want to make sure that, they are healing, because if we don't have a mom, if we have a mom who's sick, then we have a family that may
No
be
one
needing some
survives when
extra
mom is sick.
assistance.
That's for sure. No one does. And Pilar, you were saying that the program came about because of not only what you guys were seeing statistically with this, but that it has also helped reduce emergency room visits that were not necessary, by a large number. So, in effect, this program saves the county a lot of money to help quell that. Is that right?
Yes, yes. So it reduces emergency department visits and overnight stays by 50% for
That's
1 year
huge. Yeah.
after a baby's born. And not only that, but it's the people who are saving money on it's really the insurance companies. Okay.
Yeah.
So
It's
they're
okay too, but
they're
yeah.
the payers, and that's
Sure.
we're saving money. So it really makes sense to get some investment from insurance companies and helping to pay for a service like this.
Yeah. And
Um,
what we want all families to know is that this is not a program specifically for any cross section of people. It is just any family who has had a baby, right? So we want all families to feel comfortable. All you have to do is go to newbornvisit.com if you're pregnant and sign up to kind of get on the list. And then I'm assuming you guys follow up and find out how all of that, when the baby's born, if in case it's not at Frederick Health.
Yes, that's correct. So we have a list. We go by due date. We contact those that aren't delivering right at Frederick Health. If they're delivering anywhere else, and they live in Frederick County, we want them to have a visit. So we keep that list and we call them pretty close to their due date to make sure that we're pretty much on track. If they deliver early, we do send them an email just saying, look, if you deliver early, contact us again. And our phone number is on that newbornvisit.com as well.
Tell you, I had opposite children. I don't even know how I birthed 2 children that were completely different by the same husband. But my daughter, who was the second child, did not sleep 2 minutes when we had it. Was really tough to have a 2 year old and a newborn that was not as easy as I felt the first one was, right? So it's not even just your first child. Sometimes your second child or third or beyond, they're different. And so there is no harm in having these great nurses come by and make sure everybody's doing okay, and to give you peace of mind and remind you that you're great and you can do it. I love it.
the nurses that Lori has hired are very experienced. And
Yeah.
so they are real pros at what they do. And we hear so much positivity from the family. So we call them afterwards to see, how did the visit go? Did they get everything they needed? Did they feel supported and understood by the nurse? And we get really, really positive feedback from those
Oh,
calls.
I can imagine. I First of all, just having an adult conversation in the throes of those first few weeks is probably just enough, right? And yeah, I think just honestly being reassured that if everything is where it needs to be, you're doing great. Keep doing it, and you got a whole team of people behind you. I think there's nothing better for our young families. So we think what you guys are doing is great. If there's ever anything that the community can do to support this whole project, please let us know, because I think it's amazing. And again, if you're pregnant, I'll make sure the website's on the screen, simplenewbornvisit.com, or maybe you know somebody, make sure they know that this exists for them, and it is for all pregnant women. So you just have to live in Frederick County, and yeah, you will be covered by these wonderful people. We really appreciate everything you're both doing to bring this to families here in Frederick County.
Thank you, Danny.
Thank you.